all right, am I thumping my own chest? Yeah, but that took, I don't know, people. That's why my channel says, fighting windmills so you don't have to. And essentially, if you don't understand, that's from Don Quixote. And Don Quixote was I guess he was a landowner or something, old Spaniard that lost his mind, went crazy, thought he was a knight, and perceived the windmills as being giants. So he took his lance and was trying to fight. And actually the phrase is tilting at windmills. I tried to change it, but YouTube won't allow that many words in that area anymore. They used to, but they changed something. You can't write that much text in it. So it remains fighting windmills rather than tilting at windmills. And yes, I'm insane, and I fight battles that don't matter and battles that can't be won. And so, yeah, like crazy Don Quixote. But I love Don Quixote, the man of La Mancha, because in his heart, he really thought he was doing the right thing, even though he was insane. And he was fighting against evil. He thought he was on the right side. And even though I may be criticized because I talk about trying to do the right thing, nobody's perfect. We have all come short. What is that? We have all come short in the glory of God, or something like that. Or more simply put, nobody's perfect. So, at least, I don't know. You can judge me, even though judge not, or thou should be judged. Go ahead, cast that first stone. So anyway, what else has been going on? Oh, I forgot about this. See, look, this is how it works. Boy, I really babble. Just got a little bit of YouTube drama. I got this in the mail the other day. Oh, I forgot to use my cool letter opener. Check this out. Isn't that bitchin'? I think it's legal, though, because it's so tiny. Yeah. See, in this case, no need for a compensation. Of course, that doesn't work out. Remember my big sword I was pulling out? Oh, yeah. You know the rule, right? It's like the size of your weapon or your car or your belt buckle. What is it? Okay, it's the size of your belt buckle is proportionate in reverse to your IQ. In other words, if you have this large belt buckle, the larger it is, the stupider you are. Or in the case of cars and weapons, the larger your car or weapon, the smaller your penis is. So anyway, that's all psychological babble, I know. Who cares what Freud or Jung said, huh? Right? So anyway, yeah, I got this in the mail. I've got a sticker from the National Rifle Association. Do you think I should put it on my car so the people that are very, very frightened won't ridicule me? When I drive in East County, they won't throw stuff at me. They go, oh, no, he's one of us. You know the whole thing. Look, my dad had a good friend that was a gun collector, but he kept them all in a case. They weren't loaded and they weren't there for self-protection. And my father kind of did the same thing. I mean, his friend was into it, so he's like, okay, yeah. So he collected some guns. But by the time I was born, he had sold most of them. He did hold on to God, I can't remember. I guess it was a Colt 45. I know it was a 6-shooter, typical Western 6-shooter with a holster, and it had a stamp and the name of the person that owned it, and it was owned by a lawman that lived in Pueblo, Colorado, and it had 2 notches on the barrel. Now, whether somebody put the notches on later, who knows, But it was an interesting family heirloom, which my father sold because we were tight for money. And so I did not inherit that. But I inherited his .22 rifle. I showed it to somebody and they said that could be a collectible, because the guy told me that thing's really old. It's an old Stevens .22. So I'm not anything about guns. I like guns. But I've come to the conclusion, and this is what, I'm not the first one that said that, but people that really, really want to carry guns for self-defense, really, really believe in guns and having guns everywhere for home defense, are afraid. Deep, deep down, they're scared of something. And that can apply to racism. I mean, to go through life anticipating that you're going to be carjacked, anticipating that somebody's going to break into your house and rape your wife, and living your life like that's going to happen. Sure, one person can say, hey, it's always good to be prepared. But how prepared do you want to be? I mean, that's basically, I think it shows fear. Anyway, so now, yeah, I don't even lock my door at night. When I had my ex-girlfriend stay over, though, boy, that used to freak her out. She'd always like double checking the doors. We'd be like going to sleep, and I'd be like dozing off. She'd go, "Did you lock the door?" And I go, "Oh God, no." Yeah. By the way, she left me because she hates me. Okay. What's the question? All right. Oh, why she hates me? Oh, I don't know. You figure it out. So, I'm sure you come up with lots of reasons why she hates me. Those of you out there that like to point that out to me. Yeah. So, LB, here's to you. You know, this person that was calling you a liberal. It was an insult to both of us. Darn it. Cheers. Here's to you. There's one of the classic ideas in literature and in Hollywood filmmaking, or filmmaking in general. And it's one of the really wonderful things you'll see, and it's probably been worn out, but it's always nice to see it again, is the idea that two people that are enemies unite against a common enemy. And that's one of those things, when you see the story and if it's done right, it can be very, very stirring and inspiring. Yeah, I'm a fan of those old Western movies and stuff, and a lot of times they would play out on that sort of thing. My dad really loved Westerns. I myself really loved the 60s spy thing. Oh, you know, with The Prisoner and James Bond and Our Man Flint and Get Smart. There was even the Patrick McGowan show prior to The Prisoner called Secret Agent Man. I've only watched a couple of those, but never watched enough of them to get into it, really. But it's that genre. The Avengers. Love the Avengers. So anyway, yeah, not so much the Western shoot-'em-ups. Not so much. And I'm not a fan of the gangster Italian mafia thing. I really don't like that at all. Finally, after years and years, I was dating a girl who loved the Godfather series. And you know the reason why she loved it so much is because they were a family that stuck together and watched each other's backs. And her family was so dysfunctional that she felt that you know, her family never stood up for each other. You know, they never presented a united front, and that's what she liked about the Godfather series. I didn't quite get that out of that, but I'll tell you, I did finally watch it. I think I watched the whole, 3 of them? And I did enjoy it. It is good filmmaking, and some people claim that those are the greatest movies ever made. Well, I disagree, because it's just the subject matter I don't relate to. War movies I enjoy as long as they're more like World War I and before. World War II, to me, is a little too close to home. I've met World War II veterans that are still walking around, and there's for some reason, that connection. And the Holocaust is too soon in our history. I worked for a guy that was a soldier when they rolled into, the Germans had retreated and they rolled into the camps. And he saw firsthand what happened. He saw the starving that were held in the camps. And they were under orders not to give him any food because it would kill them. And it was such a hard thing for him and his comrades to not, they could give him water, I think, but not too much at once. But I guess one guy disobeyed order and gave one of them a candy bar, and the guy died. And the other part of the story was winter when they rolled in, and there was snow all over the ground, but there was this large patch of ground, that had no snow on it. This large, large area. And that's where the mass grave was. The heat from the decaying bodies was melting the snow. And yes, and into the Holocaust deniers, I just don't understand it. And that's why World War II is too close to me. I watched, it's very interesting to me. A friend of mine shared Band of Brothers and what was the other one? Pacific, the one about the Pacific, I think. I forgot what it was titled. And it was hard for me to watch a lot of that. God, especially those guys in this Guadalcanal and stuff. Oh man. God, how anybody could survive that. And I remember as a kid, I really, really loved the movie The Bridge Over the River Kwai, but I wasn't old enough to understand or empathize with the suffering. How those, and we, I'll admit it, the world doesn't really see the typical English men or Brit as this really, the stereotype, tea drinking, et cetera, et cetera. But you see the reality of what happened, what those men, what they endured, be as tough as anybody, as tough as any Russian or whoever you would want to say that's a tough breed, an American. Anyway, I'm bumming myself out here, really.